Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. SFO Grimhammer's newest patch, The Great Plan, releases in just a few hours, and there is one more thing that's coming to this patch, which is a further rework to the Warriors of Chaos. They've received some nice changes and further expansion towards everything else that was changed in a previous patch. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. A quick note for all those not aware, the Warriors of Chaos are unfortunately a race which has all their legendary lords in one faction, meaning that it's all in one start location. However, SFO Grimhammer has a different take on that subject, where you'll be able to teleport your starting army to a different location. You'll be presented with 4 options at the beginning of your campaign: Northern Ulthuan, Southern Araby, Western Lustria, or remaining in the Chaos Wastes. Whichever you choose will also grant you a faction-wide bonus which will remain with you until the end of your campaign. Archaon's faction effect, Ever Chosen, has the following benefits. Units gain plus 2% weapon and missile strength per rank achieved. Unlocks hero recruitment Exalted Hero. Chaos sacrifices cost minus 25% of base value. Physical resistance 10% for Chaos Knights units. Melee attack and leadership plus 10 for Chaos Cultist units, and can raise Chaos Fortresses in every major settlement. More on that a little later. Archaon's own unique trait, Vessel, has the following benefits. Ward save 5% for all units in Lord's army. Income from raising settlements plus 10% for all characters. Upkeep minus 10% for Chaos Knights units in all armies faction-wide. And finally, the Swords of Chaos, Chaos Knights Regiments of Renown, serve Archaon completely for free whilst in his own army. Korlek's own faction trait, Herald of the Tempest, has the following benefits. Korlek can recruit up to 10 Bestigor units. Enemy siege holdout time minus 2. Global recruitment duration minus 2 turns for all units. Melee attack plus 5 when laying siege, removes charge defense versus large from all enemy units, and finally can raise Chaos Fortresses in every major settlement. Kolek's own unique trait, Mountain God, has the following benefits. Upkeep minus 25% for Dragon Ogre units in Lord's army. Melee attack plus 10 for Dragon Ogre Shaggoth units in Lord's army. Melee attack plus 10 for regular Dragon Ogre units in Lord's army. Summoners of Rage, Dragon Ogre Regiments of Renown, serve Korlek completely for free whilst in his army, and unit capacity plus 2 for Dragon Ogre and Dragon Ogre Shaggoth units. Sigvald's faction trait, Scion of Sinesh, has the following benefits. Marauder units gain the Rage passive ability, which further upgrades to Berserk at rank 7 and above. Demonettes of Sinesh summons in battle. Yes, you can summon Demonettes directly into the battlefield. Dark Devotion gained from battles plus 10%. Hero self-defense chance plus 25% of wounding aggressors. Tribute from vassals plus 25%. And finally can raise Chaos Fortresses in every major settlement. Whereas Sigvald's own trait, Supreme Vanity, has the following benefits. Speed plus 10 for infantry units in Lord's army. Horde growth plus 5 for Lord's army. Upkeep minus 25% for Marauder units in his own army, Attribute Strider for Lord's army, and finally the Mirror Guard Chaos Warriors Regiments of Renown serve Sigvald completely for free whilst in his army. Your Chaos Lords will be able to build up war shrines dedicated to one of their chosen Chaos Gods. Being able to do so will grant various different benefits and also allow you to recruit new units. These are God-touched and highly elite warriors. Now, it is important to note that you can only build up 1 shrine per army, so you can't have all 4. The units themselves, as expected, are heavily stylized with their dedication to their specific Chaos God, and they will fulfill battlefield roles as expected from them in the lore, so not only will they look the part, but also feel the part too. First up, we have the Zealots of Change, and they are, of course, Tzeentchian warriors. Now, stat-wise, they might not look so good, but then again, you can't expect them to be very powerful. The thing is, however, that they do have access to some bound spells, and even are able to summon in Chaos Spawn. The Sons of the Last Plague are of course dedicated to Nurgle. Great weapon wielding and very heavily armoured with Juggernaut, area of attacks, and regeneration, these are the embodiment of Nurgle's fist when he can be bothered to raise his arm. With 15,000 HP, they can take a lot of punishment and still keep on fighting. The Guardians of the Dark Prince's Desires are of course dedicated to Slaanesh. These are more mid-tier when it comes to stats. However, they have armor-piercing melee damage, vanguard deployment, perfect vigor, and a high resilience. They'll be able to pin down enemies and rip apart any heavily armored warriors, which of course works very well if you decide to fight against your other Norscan tribes in an effort to subjugate them. And finally, we have the Chosen Khorne Berserkers, anti-infantry, unbreakable, fast attacks, glass cannon, and dual-wielding units. These are your absolute blenders. Throw them into anything that's heavily armored, or pretty much just throw them in front of anything. Hordes of Skaven, Bretonnian peasants, or anything on foot. These units will make quick work of them. Kolek will be able to recruit the Bestigors from their own specific building, and you'll be able to upgrade their weapon strength, speed, and also make them unbreakable. The Warriors of Chaos have had a stylized technology tab for a while, where you can choose to go undivided, or lock yourself to a specific Chaos God. This patch has rebalanced some of those technologies and added some new effects. We won't be here discussing it all, as obviously we'd be here for an entire day, but it's just brought up to standard now to the newest SFO patches. The Warriors of Chaos will also now have access to a new resource known as Dark Devotion, which is gained from raising settlements, battles, events, and technology, and used in chaotic sacrifices. Those who have played the Beastmen prior to this SFO update will remember this mechanic very clearly. That itself will link up to a new tab for chaotic sacrifices. You'll have 4 different tabs, each of them stylized after a Chaos God, and you'll use your Dark Devotion resource specifically here. As you can see, you'll be able to get some buffs for your faction, but also be able to recruit minor demons. Bloodletters of Khorne will of course be available from that Khorne tab, and as you can see, they've got some pretty powerful stats. Flame and magic attacks, anti-infantry, and unbreakable too. It won't take long for you to be able to unlock these, as obviously Dark Devotion is focused around battles, and these go directly to your Regiments of Renown pool, meaning that they can be recruited instantly. Demonettes of Sinesh, obviously from the Sinesh tab, with armor-piercing melee attacks, vanguard deployment, Unbreakable 2, and fast attacks. These are quite perfect if you want to build up a skirmish type of army. Plague Bearers of Nurgle, of course from the Nurgle tab, with armor-piercing melee damage, poison attacks, unbreakable, and regeneration. They've got very high health pools as it is, and regeneration will make sure that they keep there and doing as much damage as possible. And finally we have the Pink Horrors of Tzeentch from, of course, the Tzeentch tab. Now, these are a ranged units which are anti-infantry, split on death, and small splash. They're usually represented as a ranged unit pretty much through every single Warhammer game, so it makes sense to implement them the same way here. But let's look at the split on death. With Split on Death, SFO have been able to create a rather interesting mechanic, where a pink horror dies and splits into 2 blue horrors, which will then momentarily do damage before disappearing. The whole splitting situation is of course from the lore and the tabletop, where a pink horror will turn into 2 blue horrors. And finally, the Warriors of Chaos faction will now be able to settle on settlements, but only major provincial settlements. This is of course heavily inspired by the new Beastmen Herdstone mechanic, and it works in a very similar way too. However, there are some key differences where, of course, the settlement itself is built like a Chaos Fortress, meaning that you will get multiple different building options and much more than the Beastmen ever have. And you won't have a specific area for a blood ground, but rather just the immediate settlements next to your current fortress will not be able to be resettled. There are also a few special Chaos Fortresses littered around the map. I won't tell you which ones, but you can go and hunt them down for yourselves. With that, we are done with the SFO update videos. I am certain that Venris has a stream planned, which will happen later on this afternoon before the release, so I do advise checking that out when possible. But let me know what you think about the Warriors of Chaos changes in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.